So I finally got around to seeing the latest Dune movie. I didn't see any of the previous adaptations, the best known one being from 1984, and I never read the book. But, this movie is the biggest adaptation of the book yet. And so I figure, hey, why not? And it's received really good reviews from the public, but kind of moderate reviews from critics. See, the thing that like why I like to think I'm a good critic is that I'm kind of say the critics and audiences are ever divided. I'm usually like the middle ground with them. Like sometimes I agree with critics, sometimes I agree with the audience, sometimes it's a mixture between the two. Like if there's one extreme and the other, I'm right in the middle of that. But with Dune, I lie towards the audience. This is my favorite film of the year so far. Now, I know that that's not saying a lot. There haven't really been very many good films this year, but this film it's quite magnificent. It's quite the spectacle. The only other film this year that I am looking forward to seeing that I think may eclipse Dune is House of Gucci. Maybe The Last Duel. I haven't seen Last Duel yet, but yeah, House of Gucci is really the one that I think may surpass Dune in terms of greatness. So Dune was directed by Denis Villeneuve, who is a Quebecois director, and he's branched off into doing lots of Hollywood blockbusters. Like he did Arrival, he did the sequel to Blade Runner, and Sicario. So yeah, he's really no stranger to making grand, virtuoso films. But the thing that makes Dune so different from something like Arrival and the Blade Runner sequel is that this one has such a thunderous, enormous, pounding spectacle at every single turn, every single shot. It's so thunderous. We are held in it. Okay, the movie's 2.5 hours, right? We are held in its grasp for so long. Like all 2.5 hours, we are just held in its grasp. Nothing wears out, nothing changes. We are just so entranced, so hypnotized by this amazing feat of power that the film has that we're just like ooh ah. Okay, I wasn't born in the 60s or the 70s when Star Wars and 2001 Space Odyssey came out. But this must have been how it felt to watch those films for the first time. The difference is Star Wars has also an extremely strong storytelling factor to it, but Dune doesn't. And 2001: A Space Odyssey is able to someone do a better job with their storytelling without because it's experimental, it's avant-garde film, but Dune isn't. So it ultimately makes Dune inferior to both films. But I don't want to take much away from Dune. Just know the that because the movie itself is so thunderous and every single shot is just so wondrous and just amazing that it kind of diminishes. Well, I don't want to say it diminishes, but the general storytelling and the characters are not quite as strong as the rest of the film is. I think that if the general look of the film wasn't as strong, then that would have made the characters in the stories shine more, and that might have made might have made a better film, but it very likely wouldn't have. I think that if they would have just done a better job, like the strengthening the story, that it would have been okay. Well, okay. I hear that this film is supposed to be the okay, I hear that there's supposed to be two Dune films. This one is pretty much up the setting everything up for its sequel. And yeah, I've heard lots of people say that this film is about really about nothing, and nah. Timothy Chalamet is this guy who's entrusted to go to this planet. He's a legacy, and he has to protect his family from the bad guys in the galaxy. So yeah, it has kind of a thin story, but it really didn't bother me a whole lot. Everything else in this film is so thunderous with everything, and also the movie's never ever boring. The A really big thing that Arrival and especially Blade Runner 2049 had was that it was so dull. But this one right here, never a boring moment. The movie could have been less thunderous and still wouldn't have been boring. That's what I really like about this film. Now, I of course everyone knows that I like to give rate films on this channel on scale of 4 to 4 stars. If I went by like say 10, then this wouldn't be getting a perfect score. But the way it stands right now, 4 stars being the highest, Dune from 2021 is definitely worthy of getting it. 4 stars.